The case of Junko Furuta. This case is one of the most disturbing and heartbreaking I've ever come across, and I'm going to share this story with all of you today. Junko was a 17-year-old Japanese woman and attended Yashio Minami High School. She lived with her family, which consisted of her parents, her younger and older brother. She lived in the Misato Saitama Prefecture in Japan and was living quite an ordinary life. She had a part-time job working at a plastic molding factory from October 1988 in order to save up money for a planned graduation trip. She was well liked by all her classmates and teachers, had consistently good grades, was barely absent, and didn't even smoke or do drugs. She was considered quite popular among her peers, as she was also incredibly attractive. Her presence even reached the eyes of a Yakuza wannabe, Hiroshi Miyano. He was 18 at the time and had developed feelings for Junko, and even asked her out. However, she rejected him, and this made him incredibly angry. On the 25th of November 1988, he devised a plan with one of his friends, Minato Shinji, who was 16 at the time. He would attack Junko, and Miyano would swoop in to protect her like a guardian of sorts. He would offer to walk Junko home. She was unaware that this was planned by Miyano, and he gained a little bit of her trust, so she would agree. Miyano would then lure her into a nearby warehouse and threatened her, claiming he was a member of the Yakuza, one of the biggest crime syndicates in all of Japan. He said that he would only spare her life if she did what he said. He would then take her to a hotel where he would proceed to rape her. He would brag about it to one of his friends, Joe Ogura. On the 26th of November, Miyano took Junko to a nearby park where he'd meet up with three of his friends, Minato Shinji, Joe Ogura, and Yasushi Watanabe, where they would tell her that they know where she lived and that the Yakuza would kill her family if she attempted to escape. Minato would agree to having Junko trapped in a confined room on the second floor of his house for the purpose of gang raping. That room is where she was held captive and would spend the last 40 days of her life. On the 27th of November, Junko's parents called the police, but unfortunately, her kidnappers convinced Junko to call her parents 3 separate times to convince them that she had run away and was safe with some friends. She was also forced into pretending to be Miyano's girlfriend in front of his parents. This part of the video is going to be quite disturbing, as I'm going to list every single bit of torture that she underwent over those 40 days. She had to put up with gang rape, shaved pubic hair, burned genital area with a match, forced to masturbate in front of the group, objects inserted into her vagina and anus, repeatedly punched in the face, ankles burned with a lighter, thighs and hands burned with lighter fluid, forced to stand on the balcony with little clothing, forced to dance naked to music, made to drink large amounts of alcohol, milk and water, forced to smoke 2 cigarettes at once and inhale paint thinner fumes, fed only small amounts of food, eventually only milk, confined to the floor due to inability to use the toilet, pleaded to be killed due to the repeated assaults in severe conditions, beaten until her face was unrecognizable, infected wounds emitted a foul odor. Her death. On January 4th, 1989, after losing to Junko in a game of mahjong, despite the state that she was in, Miyano violently assaulted her by dripping hot wax on her face, beating her, and setting her on fire, which resulted in her death. The group wrapped her body in a blanket, placed it in a travel bag and encased it in concrete inside a metal drum, which they disposed of in a vacant lot. The boys were going to get away with their crime, but in a typical sense, Miyano's stupidity led the police to solve their crime. In early 1989, Miyano and Ogura were arrested for another crime, and during interrogation, thinking that the police had figured it out, Miyano stupidly confessed to Junko's murder, leading the police to recover her body on March 29 and arrest the other involved individuals. I really appreciate everyone that watched to the end. Thank you all for your support on my other uploads. I hope to keep doing videos like this, so if you enjoy them, it would mean so much to me if you subscribed and help me stay motivated.